From one legal trouble to another,
Oh boy.
Disney has now asked a Florida court to toss the lawsuit brought by Ron DeSantis' handpicked board over Walt Disney World jurisdiction. I don't think this is going to go anywhere.
No.
As in, I don't think Florida court is going to toss this lawsuit.
No.
So this is obviously the ongoing situation between Governor Ron DeSantis, and Disney. And, loads of people are like, well, Ron DeSantis shouldn't be doing this and blah, blah, blah. It's really important to note, you can say that a company has its right to free speech and things like that. Sure, fine. They don't actually have a right to these special privileges, though. That's always important to note whenever we're talking about this stuff. So when we talk about the rights and things like that of companies, yeah, they might have a right to free speech. Sure, they're not free from a certain element of consequence around that freedom of speech. But also they don't have a right to the incredibly special privileges that they had and still currently kind of have around this. So the Walt Disney Company is asking a judge to dismiss or stay a state lawsuit brought by the special district that oversees its Florida resort property. In a motion filed in Florida State Court in Orange County, we're not going to read it, Disney called the lawsuit moot. Of course you would. Also claimed that state law requires that the state court sideline the litigation until the company's own federal case against Governor Ron DeSantis is resolved. So here's a little bit of it. Disney's earlier filed and earlier served federal action is pending between substantially the same parties, and it involves substantially overlapping issues. In these circumstances, controlling precedents provide that the court lacks discretion to proceed with this case. Disney regrets that it is compelled to litigate these issues anywhere, but the federal action is the proper vehicle for first hearing the parties' dispute. So Disney sued DeSantis in federal court last month over the governor's effort to strip the company of control of the Reedy Creek Improvement District, the special district that has overseen its Florida property for the past 55 years and appointed his own members. Disney said that DeSantis' efforts violated its First Amendment and other constitutional rights because it was done in retaliation for the company's opposition to a state parental rights bill, known as the Don't Say. It's not known as that. Okay, that is literally just ridiculous, and I'm not gonna placate to that nonsense. But after the lawsuit was filed, the governor appointees to the special district, newly named the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, filed their own lawsuit against the company in state court. They want a judge to declare a set of Disney development agreements with the special district void and unenforceable, and the agreements which ensure that the company still maintained autonomy on what gets built on its property and surrounding land were approved by the Reedy Creek Special District just weeks before it passed from Disney's control to the state. DeSantis recently signed a bill that voided Disney's development contracts and prohibited the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District from complying with them. In their most recent motion, this is amazing, it cracks me up so much, Disney's attorneys argued that DeSantis' action makes any order this court could issue in either party's favor legally irrelevant.
Yes.
I mean, there's a little bit more, but let's just get your thoughts, because it just cracks me right up. It all just cracks me right up. Tom, we haven't heard from you. What are your thoughts on this, mate?
I think they're still grasping for straws here when it comes to Disney. If they really thought they had this in the bag, we wouldn't be seeing all these maneuvers and quick, filings of this, that, and the other. They are so desperate at this point to get out of this trouble they're in. Because let's be real here, they already lost Reedy Creek. It's not like they're fighting to keep it. It's gone. So what they're suing for is, they're claiming damages in this sense. And it's like, how can you claim damages for something that wasn't technically Disney in the first place, but yet you're trying to assimilate it as Disney, and that is not how this works. And as we say all the time, they must have some fancy California, New York lawyers working for them that have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Yep.
Because for the desperate moves they're making and the stupidity that's coming out of them is like they're basically making DeSantis's case for him. And the basis for what we know of this is, Andrew from Legal Mindset, who actually used to work in these districts, right? He understands how this stuff works. He knows these laws. He's the type of guy that you would go to when you were dealing with this kind of situation. And he flat out said that Disney's desperate moves right now are hurting them more than anything, from what it sounds like. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out in court. But I mean, just to me, it's like they were in a better place when Chapek was behind the scenes talking to DeSantis before he was ousted than when Bob Iger came in. Because from what we've heard, Santos has said he hasn't heard boo from Disney since then. So what incentive does he have to work with Disney here? And all Disney's doing is making idle threats in the press. So he turned around and he made some joking idle threats back. And they panicked. They panicked like little children because they know they're in trouble. They know they're in
Didn't he recently say that like Disney's waging a jihad against them or something like that, which was very comical? Crack me right up, because people are like, "Oh, you can't say that word." Yeah, you can.
Why not?
I mean, like that is completely it's completely appropriate language to use. Completely appropriate language to use.
This is a typical Disney tactic. It's always when it's a political tactic. It's something I've talked about multiple times. Delay. If you have no power,
they love delaying. Sorry to interrupt. So just to throw this out there, they actually did this and they tried to litigate their way out of Jim and John Thomas getting the rights back to Predator.
Yeah.
And so they just keep delay. It is a standard Disney tactic. They always do this.
Yeah.
We've seen it time and time again. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just when they know they have no power, when they know they're likely to lose, they delay. That's all they do. They'll delay to the point where somebody dies because of old age. They are that bad. And again, if you lack power, that's the last strategy you have. They don't have power in this situation. They actually, if they, based on the statements, and again, this is Bob talking way too much. If they actually get what they believe they deserve, they're in trouble for securities fraud, because Reedy Creek and Disney are not supposed to be one and the same. In fact, they're legally prevented from being so.
And he came out on, it was a shareholder call, wasn't it? He was like, blah, 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 blah. We do this. Like, whoa.
It's like, you can't do that. It's like,
oh, goodness me. But again, this is just one of many legal issues Disney's facing. So they've obviously got this issue. They've got the previous issue that we just discussed. They're being sued by the Acolyte showrunner, producer, whoever. They were being sued by Victoria Alonso. They talked big over there, and then they've had to settle into the tune of millions and millions. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's an absolute shit show. It's an absolute shit show. And where culture's just dipped out. So, Tom, any sort of closing thoughts there, mate?
Like I said, we're going to have to wait and see how this rolls. But at this point, I think all the, the person with all the cards in his hand right now are DeSantis, basically. And Disney's got a bunch of nothing. They can bluff all they want. And DeSantis called their bluff initially. And
I love that.
This is going to be an interesting situation going forward to see how it pans out. So it's about all I can say about it until we know more.
It certainly will be. Certainly will be. Absolutely hilarious. It does crack me up.